Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, good morning. When will the program begin?
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Anuj Verma, Head Department of Civil Engineering at Rajshree Institute of Management and Technology, Bareilly. It is indeed a great privilege to welcome you all to this webinar on the occasion of World Habitat Day 2025, organized by Department of Civil Engineering, Rajshree Institute of Management and Technology, Bareilly, in association with the Institution of Engineers, India, Bareilly Local Center, Bareilly. This year's theme, Urban Crisis Responses, hold immense relevance in the present context of global urbanization. Across the world, cities are facing increasing challenges from housing storages and inadequate infrastructure to natural disasters, climate change, and rapid migrations. In such a scenario, sustainable planning and effective urban crisis management become not just a professional responsibilities but moral imperatives. World Habitat Day remind us of the fundamental rights of shelter and the shared duty to make our cities safe, resilient, and inclusive. It inspires us to think critically about the future of our urban spaces and to ensure that technological advancement goes hand in hand with environmental and societal sustainability. Now, we would like to invite our director, sir, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Sharma, sir, director, Rashtriya Institute of Management and Technology, Bareilly, and also chairman, the Institution of Engineers, Bareilly Local Center, to motivate us with his inspiring words. Please, uh, director, sir. Director, sir, please. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
हेलो.
Yes, sir.
आवाज
Yes,
आ रही है मेरी?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm. To
Please,
start
sir.
with,
Yes, sir.
my voice is audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
So, on the behalf of Institution of Engineers India Bareilly Local Center, as a chairman, on the occasion of the World Habitat Day of the one day, lecture on the hepatitis. So I welcome to all of you. I hope everyone enjoy and learn something new about the World Hepatitis Day. World Hepatitis is the basically is the not a new concept. This is the old concept. But first we know what is the hepatitis. Why are we are celebrating Hepatitis Day? So it is important to know each and every person. So thank you very much, Anuj. Please carry on because I am engaged in some place. Please.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for valuable words for encouragement. We are truly honored to have among us our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Aditya Pratap Sanyal, sir, from Department of Architecture, Planning and Design, IIT BHU, Banarasi. Dr. Aditya Pratap Sanyal is a assistant professor in this department with a strong background in both academia and the industry. He hold a PhD from IIT Kharagpur, MTech from IIT Roorkee, and B.Arch from IOSAN's School of Architecture, Jaipur, with a research focus on improving the efficiency and sustainability of urban infrastructure in India, forecasting delays and analysis cost overruns in construction using sustainable materials and method for energy efficient buildings and study urban resilience. He has published several journal articles, book chapters, and conference papers. Dr. Sanyal sir is actively involved in administrative duty at IIT BHU, including having served as a joint head of his department. He has extensive professional affiliations, including being a IGBC accredited professionals, resource persons at various FDPs sponsored by AICTs and COA, associated with NIUA on understanding inclusive, accessible, accessible urban environmental with focus on Banarasi has has contributed as an external consultant to the project of Banarasi Smart City Limited. On the behalf of Department of Civil Engineering and the Institution of Engineers Bareilly Local Center, I extend my warm welcome and heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Sanyal sir for accepting our invitation and gracing this event with his presence. Once again, welcome to this webinar. I call you Dr. Sanyal sir, please.
Thank you, Mr. Anuj.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Anuj, for the invitation. And this is a very relevant topic. The World Habitat Day is generally celebrated on the first Monday of October every year. And this has been a very essential topic because, as you kindly mentioned, that habitat is one of the basic necessities. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Saket Agarwal, Dean Academics, Rajshree Institute, and Dr. Anil Kumar, Director Academics from Rajshree Institute, for giving me this invitation, giving me this opportunity to stand on this platform today for giving the keynote lecture. I also would like to thank Dr. Pankaj Kumar Sharma, Director, Rajshree Institute, who is also the chairman of the Institution of Engineers, Bareilly Local Center. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity. And can we start the session now, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Anuj?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you. I'll just be sharing my screen then. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Just turn off my camera. Thank you all for joining for this session. I see that a lot of participants have joined together, and it's good to know that habitat, as we all know of, is an essential part of our day-to-day life. So this World Habitat Day is generally organized by the United Nations since 1985, I guess. They started organizing this day to target a very essential part of our day-to-day life. First of all, let's just see what is the essence of having this day. What is the essential part of having this day? The purpose of International Habitat Day raises the awareness about human settlements and the right to gender to adequate shelter globally. It's a global observance day held annually on the first Monday of October to reflect on the state of human settlements and the basic right to adequate shelter. It was established by United Nations in 1985, and the day serves as a platform to raise awareness about urban development and challenges and promote sustainable solutions. The theme for this year, 2025, has been identified as Urban Crisis Response, emphasizing the need for cities to adapt and respond to multiple crises such as climate change, conflict, and displacement. As you're well aware that there are a lot of wars going on and refugee situations which have been going on, migration that has been going on, and that is leading to a major change in the habitation, accommodation that is available to the people. The theme highlights the urgency of building resilient urban systems that can withstand and recover from shocks while ensuring inclusivity and equity. The housing, as you can understand, is more than just a shelter. It is the foundation which gives us dignity and resilience. If you have a house, people generally consider that you have achieved a major target in your life. Climate change, conflicts, natural disasters are continuing to displace millions of people and forcing people to leave homes in the search of safety, stability, and better living conditions. The global housing crisis is no longer it's about housing, it is a wake-up call for action. We must rethink urban policies, land use, legislation, and basic services as key drivers of climate action and sustainable development. The United Nations established the World Habitat Day in 1985 for addressing these global housing concerns. And housing is a right for people. As we'll see that over the years, our country has also understood and is actually implementing the same. So yearly there is a thematic focus. The global participation, countries, organizations, they participate through activities promoting sustainable urban growth and raising awareness on the housing challenges. The day actually plays a crucial role in mobilizing governments and citizens worldwide to improve the living conditions, promote affordable housing, and foster sustainable communities. The United Nations Habitat Strategic Plan over the last 5 years has been for reducing the inequality through increased and equal access to basic services, sustainable mobility and public space, increasing and secure access to land and adequate affordable housing, and effective settlement growth and regeneration. The second agenda of the plan has been to promote prosperity, improved spatial connectivity and productivity, increased and equitably distributed locally generated revenues, expanded deployment of frontier technologies and innovations. The third agenda has been for acting for climate and nature by reducing the greenhouse emissions and improved air quality, improved resource efficiency and protection of ecological assets, effective adaptation of communities and infrastructure to climate change. And finally, the agenda for this year, which is to respond to crisis, is enhanced social integration and inclusive communities, improved living standards and inclusion of migrants, refugees, and internally displaced persons, and enhanced resilience of the built environment and infrastructure. The current theme, it addresses the convergence of multiple crises in urban areas, including climate change, political instability, and forced displacement. The crisis these crises, they disproportionately affect vulnerable populations, particularly the 1.1 billion people living in informal settlements and slums. Over 123 million people are forcibly displaced globally, and more than 60% are seeking refuge in cities. And the strain on urban infrastructure and services is immense because of this. Current year's theme calls for inclusive urban planning, investment in resilient infrastructure, and legal frameworks to protect vulnerable communities. The theme also emphasizes the role of cities in providing secure housing, access to basic services, and opportunities for displaced populations to contribute positively to society. And by focusing on this crisis response, the theme aligns with global efforts to achieve sustainable development goals and build urban resilience. As we discussed earlier, the significance of the current theme is on multiple urban crises. Urban areas especially are facing overlapping crises such as climate change, political instability, and forced displacement, which is affecting vulnerable populations. Over 123 million people are displaced globally, and people are seeking refuge in cities, and the cities therefore are getting strained on the infrastructure and the services. And therefore, what is being called upon is inclusive urban planning, which calls for inclusive planning, resilient infrastructure, and legal protections to support vulnerable urban residents. So, urban challenges and vulnerabilities. Urbanization is accelerating globally with around 4 billion people currently living in cities. And by 2050, this number is expected to reach 6.7 billion, adding nearly 2 billion new urban residents. This urban growth presents significant challenges, including increased demand for housing, infrastructure, and services. And urban areas generate over 80% of the global GDP, and yet they also concentrate poverty and inequality. In Africa alone, 62% of urban dwellings are informal. And in Asia Pacific region, over 500 million people, they lack access to safe water, while more than 1 billion lack adequate sanitation. These statistics, they underscore the need for proactive planning and investment to ensure that cities can accommodate this growing population sustainably and equitably. Furthermore, climate change is also leading to crisis. It's a significant threat to urban areas, exacerbating existing vulnerabilities and increasing new risks. By 2050, over 170 cities would be regularly exposed to extreme high temperatures, and which is going to affect around 1.6 billion people. Urban areas are responsible for 70% of the global CO2 generation, with transportation and buildings being the major contributors. And cities are facing increased frequency and intensity of these extreme weather events such as urban flood, heat waves, storms, which are damaging urban infrastructure, disrupting services, and threatening public health. Informal settlements like slums are particularly at risk due to poor construction, lack of drainage, limited access to emergency services. And addressing these challenges requires integrated approach that combines climate adaptation, resilient infrastructure, and inclusive planning. The strategies for this resilient urban development include some of the innovative solutions include nature-based solutions, green infrastructure, smart technologies, and flood management as they have been doing in the city of Mumbai. Because building resilient cities, it involves innovative urban planning and investment in infrastructure that can withstand and recover from crisis as quickly as possible. Nature-based solutions like parks, wetlands, low-impact developments, urban forests, they help manage the flood risks and reduce urban heat. The green infrastructure itself can lower the urban temperatures by significantly by about 5 degrees Celsius, which is quite essential, and mitigating, and therefore it can mitigate the urban heat waves. Smart cities, such as including real-time data and monitoring, early warning system, etc., are very much essential. Cities like Mumbai, they are implementing improved drainage and early warning systems to address flooding though the challenges remain in informal settlements like squatters, encroachment, and slums. These strategies demonstrate the importance of combining technology, environmental design, and community engagement to build urban resilience. Housing solutions and community engagement are quite essential to overcome this crisis that is coming up. Currently, 2.8 billion people lack access to adequate housing, secure land, and basic services. More than 1.1 billion people live in slums across the world or in informal settlements. 300 million face absolute homelessness. And home, as we discussed, a house gives dignity, and that is what is actually missing with these 300 million people. Solutions include affordable housing innovations, community-led construction, and policy reforms that prioritize vulnerable populations. Empowering communities and youth is very much essential as they often lead grassroots initiatives and respond first during crisis. Over 60% of the refugees and half of internally displaced people live in urban areas, highlighting the need for inclusive planning. And by investing in housing and engaging communities, cities can create safer and more equitable environments. Coming down to our country, we all know about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and how it is transforming urban and rural housing in India. This initiative of Housing for All was started in 2022. We'll just see what are the objectives, progress, and challenges, and how housing has been addressed historically in our country. The objectives and the vision of the scheme of PMA 2022 was vision of housing for all. The scheme aims to provide affordable housing with essential amenities to ensure shelter for all citizens. The vision is to create housing for all by constructing affordable houses with basic amenities, promoting inclusive growth, and improved living standards. Historically, context of housing has always been there. India has been facing this persistent shortage of housing over decades, and particularly for low-income and vulnerable populations. Urban migration, population growth, inadequate infrastructure, they have compounded these challenges, and in the recent years, disasters and conflicts is also accelerating or adding to these challenges. The previous housing initiatives included Indira Awas Yojana, which focused on providing housing for rural poor but faced challenges with the scale and the reach. There was Rajiv Awas Yojana, targeting urban housing needs but integration with other urban development programs. There have been several limitations of these earlier programs, like the lack of scale and integration essential for widespread housing development. And therefore, there is a need for comprehensive housing reform. The challenges in the housing efforts were always fragmented. Fragmented efforts and growing demand called for an unified, scalable scheme which emphasized on affordability, sustainable housing with inclusive beneficiary targeting, and therefore the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana was launched. The key features include credit-linked subsidies, beneficiary-led construction, affordable housing partnerships, and renovation and upgradation. The targeted beneficiaries and the eligibility for this were also created. The PMA focuses on urban and rural poor families across various economic and social groups to ensure inclusive housing support. And the eligibility is determined based on income levels, housing status to prioritize those most in need of housing assistance. And inclusivity, as we all know, is quite essential. The scheme also targets the scheduled castes and tribes to promote social equity in housing opportunities. The PMA's dual approach addresses both urban and rural housing needs with concerted government and private sector collaboration and diverse funding models. So, the PMA-U, which targets the urban housing, whereas the PMA-G targets the rural housing communities, and it delivers affordable housing that improves living standards in villages across India. And therefore, what is being targeted is comprehensive coverage across the country. So, the role of government and private sector partnerships, it includes collaboration importance, the role of financial institutions, and the state government is also brought into the picture. The scheme, therefore, it emphasizes collaboration with private developers, financial organizations, and the state developed governments there to scale up the housing and delivery and leverage individual expertise. The PA also provides interest subsidies on home loans, grants for construction, and incentives to promote affordable and sustainable housing finance and ownership. Now we'll just see the progress made and the socio-economic benefits delivered, as well as the ongoing challenges that require attention for PMA's continued success. Millions of houses have been sanctioned and constructed since PMA's inception and contributing significantly to reduce the housing deficit in India. The program, it has substantially reduced India's housing deficit and improving living conditions across the regions. And the benefits have always been including modern construction practices, which reduce the construction time through usage of prefab and monolithic construction using self-compacting concrete and such. Through PMA, there have been several socio-economic impact on the beneficiaries. It has enhanced housing quality, providing safer and more comfortable living environments for the marginalized communities. The communities have been given access to basic amenities, and the scheme has increased access to amenities such as clean water, sanitation, electricity for the beneficiaries, thereby increasing the living standards. PMA also supports the economic stability and social inclusion, thereby fostering empowerment in the marginalized groups. The major challenges and areas for the improvement in PMA include timely fund disbursal, quality assurance, beneficiary identification, and sustainability focus. Because when you talk about uh, house for the masses, one needs to focus that the funds are distributed in a timely manner, thereby that the funds are disbursed promptly, and the quality, maintaining high standards through quality assistance, quality assurance, it safeguards the project outcomes and the beneficiary satisfaction. The future prospects and sustainable development. Looking ahead, PMA aims to expand its reach, integrate with the smart city initiatives, and promote environmentally sustainable housing models across the country. Efforts are in progress to identify and provide housing to the remaining underserved segments, ensuring no eligible beneficiary is left out of this transformative program. Because at the end of the day, the program has to be inclusive, and providing housing to all eligible beneficiaries, it supports the equitable access and that helps upgrade the society. As we all know, there have been several smart city and green initiatives, and the PMA also tries to align with these with the broader urban development goals, incorporating green technologies and smart infrastructure to create sustainable and resilient communities. The sustainable housing and long-term vision is quite essential. We need to look into eco-friendly construction systems, energy efficiency, and affordable housing models. These are the buzzwords in today's construction system, as we all know. The long-term vision includes promoting eco-friendly construction, energy efficiency, affordable housing models, so as to support India's growing population sustainably, and reducing the load on the resources. As we already discussed, the objectives and key features of PMA includes affordable housing focus by providing affordable housing options for urban and rural populations, provision of financial assistance, eco-friendly technologies, and inclusion of the vulnerable groups in the urban and rural areas. Through PMA, government has constructed millions of houses and therefore significantly enhanced the availability of affordable homes. The living standards have improved over time, and most importantly, the biggest challenge that people face when it comes to housing is the access to finance. PMA is therefore promoting easy access to housing finance, making home ownership more attainable. As we discussed earlier, the challenges also include land availability, ensuring inclusivity and sustainable growth strategies. Since 2023, 1 crore homes have been sanctioned, and it demonstrates the scheme's vast reach and progress. PMA emphasizes inclusivity and sustainable development, aiming for housing for all. International efforts and strategic planning, empowering action at all levels, is also an essential part. The United Nations Habitat the Global Impact, they promote inclusive urban decision making, through international participatory charter by fostering inclusive decision-making. Key outcomes include enhanced urban resilience, improved housing, and increased community engagement. Recommendations for sustainable habitat. It emphasizes on participatory planning, green infrastructure, and partnerships among government, civil, and society and private sector stakeholders. The UN Habitat Strategic Priorities, it emphasizes on adequate housing, land access, and informal settlement transformation for 2026-2029. Empowering individuals, communities, and policymakers is essential for building resilient cities. Actions include supporting the local resilience initiatives, advocating for sustainable policies, and participating in community projects. Social media campaigns, educational programs, volunteer opportunities can raise awareness and drive engagement. 2025 theme, it urges everyone to contribute to urban crisis response, emphasizing that inclusive planning and investment can prevent the expansion of informal settlements. And by taking collective responsibility, we can shape the future of our cities and ensure that no one is left behind in times of crisis. Context specific action is quite essential. It requires understanding the unique cultural, society, and environmental aspects of indigenous communities. Outcome-oriented principles are essential for prioritizing measurable improvements in well-being and sustainability, and the successful initiatives engage the local voices. They respect the traditional knowledge of vernacular systems and adapt strategies to fit specific community needs, thereby ensuring actions that are both relevant and effective. Benchmarking the prior participatory planning practices involves accessing current engagement methods such as against best practices. Representation of relevant experts ensures that diverse perspectives and specialized knowledge inform planning. Supporting participatory planning includes fostering inclusive dialogues, providing resources for the stakeholder involvement, and regularly evaluating the effectiveness of participation processes. Ensuring that the policy actions are consistent with the SDGs, New Urban Agenda, and international human rights framework strengthens sustainable development. Celebrating good practices highlights the effective approaches and inspires others. Encouraging the experience interchange among stakeholders, it fosters collaboration, innovation, and shared learning for more impactful and inclusive urban policies. And with that, adapting education through innovation is also an important part. Information and education systems, they must remain flexible to meet diverse needs. Operational rules should be responsive to local circumstances, ensuring relevance and effectiveness. Embracing the multimodal exchanges such as online, in-person, and hybrid formats enhances learning and opportunities and accessibility for a wider range of learners. With this, I would like to conclude our small session today. Over to you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Anuj.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Chandrasekhar Soil, Assistant Professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at Rajshree Institute of Management and Technology, Bareilly. As we come to the conclusion of this insightful and thought-provoking webinar on the occasion of World Habitat Day 2025, it is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of Civil Engineering, Rajshree Institute of Management and Technology, Bareilly, and the Institution of Engineers, India, Bareilly local chapter. This year's theme, Urban Crisis Response, reminds us of our shared global responsibility to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, as envisioned in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 11. The UN Habitat emphasizes that cities contribute nearly 70% of global CO2 emissions, urging us to take concrete steps toward creating low carbon, eco-friendly, and smart urban environments. In this context, the Government of India's flagship initiative, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, is a commendable effort toward realizing the vision of housing for all. Its objective is to provide affordable housing to every urban and rural family, ensuring that each citizen has a safe, dignified, and sustainable place to live. The mission also encourages the use of green building materials, innovative construction technologies, and energy efficient designs, aligning perfectly with the goals of sustainable urban development. Looking forward, the future, our focus must be on integrating smart city technologies, digital mapping, waste to energy systems, and sustainable transport networks to ensure that our cities become not only technological advanced but also environmentally responsible. Through innovative urban planning, community participation, and multidisciplinary collaboration, we can transform our cities into spaces that balance growth with sustainability and progress with inclusivity. At this moment, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Aditya Pratap Sanyal from IIT BHU Varanasi, for his highly enlightening and inspiring session. Sir, your insights on sustainable architecture, urban design, and disaster resilient development have truly enriched our understanding of how to respond effectively to the challenges of modern urbanizations. My sincere thanks to Dr. Anuj Verma, Head, Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. Anil Kumar, Director Sir, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Sharma, Director of RMT and Chairman of the Institution of Engineers, Bareilly Local Chapter, and Dr. Saket Agarwal, Dean, for their continuous encouragement, guidance, and leadership in promoting academic excellence and professional development. I would also like to thank the Institution of Engineers, India Bareilly Local Center for their collaboration and constant support in organizing this meaningful event. A big thank you to all our faculty members, organizing committee members, and technical team for their dedicated efforts in making this webinar a grand success. Finally, my heartfelt appreciation goes to all the participants, students, and attendees who joined us today with great enthusiasm. Your active participation reflects a shared commitment to shaping a sustainable and smart urban future. Let us carry forward the message of World Habitat Day and work together to build cities that are green, smart, resilient, and inclusive, where every citizen has a place to call home and every development respects the environment. Once again, thank you all for your presence, time, and valuable contribution. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.